This past week, my +1 and I decided to stroll into a theater and check out The Creator. Given that this one is about AI and a lot of the content on this channel is about AI, I thought I would give it a go. And you know what? The movie wasn't bad, but on the other hand, they had no idea what they are doing when it comes to AI, which really broke the movie. Sure, this is a fictional movie, but some of the ideas around AI were so bad, it became hard to watch, and actually with better knowledge of AI, in my opinion, can help the movie in more ways than just make it more realistic. So get ready, as we are going to explore some of the weird things that the creator did with AI that made no sense. Warning, spoilers ahead. The creator starts in a fictional world in 2055, where AI and humans are at war. The majority of the world has outlawed AGI, and only New Asia currently uses these smart robots, and are holding out against the US takeover. A key turning point was the creation of Nomad, a big ship that floats above the ground and highlights everything in blue before it blows it up. Why couldn't AI just shoot down this massive object that floats in the sky? Don't know. A decade later, after the destruction of Los Angeles, the US Army Sergeant Joshua Taylor, the story's protagonist, is embedded as an undercover operative in New Asia. His mission? Find Nirmata, a genius-level AI creator who was working on a new technology to destroy Nomad and turn the tide of the war in AI's favor. Well, Joshua ended up falling in love with a woman named Maya in New Asia and was living a pretty happy life until US forces decided to bomb the area, blowing up Maya in the process.
Oh, nah, dawg. Come on, man.
The protagonist returns to the US, finding himself in a depression, working a dead-end job, being a shadow of his previous self. After 5 years, the US forces decide to break his melancholy state by asking him for help. Apparently, the AI forces have created a weapon that could destroy Nomad, and they need Joshua's assistance guiding their troops to the target. To entice him, they show footage of his blown up wife is still alive. Joshua, not aware of deepfake technology, agrees and heads back to New Asia. This is where things get really bad. 1. These AI were so powerful that normal ground combat that the US had used previously was not effective, so they made Nomad to turn the tide of the war. But, upon deployment, the carefree soldiers on a stealth mission in New Asia decided to land in the middle of the countryside with, of course, all of their flashlight and equipment on, acting like this is no biggie and they should be fine. So much for stealth. AI image recognition is much more accurate than humans, so they will be able to pick off the soldiers miles from their checkpoint. For instance, today, AI can actually pick up on human facial emotions better than humans can. As the platoon approach the village, the majority of the village is AI robots. And of course, the soldiers start interrogating the natives, asking where is the compound that holds this secret weapon. And of course, the soldiers hold a dog as a hostage. The child, worried that the US forces were going to kill the dog, reveals the location of the weapon. Why soldiers wouldn't stake out the area and just observe to remain stealth is beyond me. But of course, these aren't real AI, because outside of scaring half of the village to death, they apparently don't have Amber Alerts to notify the police that they are under attack by the US forces. In the compound, the soldiers decide to shoot everyone in sight, even though no one is armed, and eventually they find the chamber that holds the weapon. The police finally arrive, given that the alarms were going off in the laboratory, and the New Asian forces end up killing the majority of the US forces, leaving Joshua alone in the chamber with the weapon. The weapon turns out to be a little AI resembling a kid named Alfie. Joshua refuses to terminate this AI because he doesn't like killing AI that of course look like children. Alfie is told to find Nirmata by someone in the compound, so the little AI heads above ground. Josh, now more concerned about living, forgets about Alfie and tries to find his fellow soldiers above ground for an extraction point. 3. Alfie decides to follow Joshua around. Why? Don't know. If a guy barges into your house wanting to kill you and decides not to and just leaves, would you be intrigued and decide to follow that killer? Or could have been killer? But maybe AI figured there was a better way and it was most optimal to follow Joshua. Nope. Remember, Alfie was told to find Nirmata. not follow the random soldier that could kill her at any point. Now, what Joshua didn't know is that a few soldiers did survive, and they find out that Joshua has the weapon, so they decide to find him and destroy Alfie. Well, Alfie and Joshua escape from the village with a vehicle that Alfie helps turn on, and the two are off to find Joshua's wife. What the two don't know is that a few soldiers did survive, and the soldiers find out that Joshua has the weapon, so they decide to find him and destroy Alfie. But how do they catch up to Joshua if they are on foot? After being captured by the AI New Asian forces, they outsmart the AI police, highly unlikely, but okay, and capture a police vehicle to catch up with the two. 4. Apparently the New Asian AI force has never heard of Apple AirTags, license plate checks, or anything like this because the US forces don't experience any issues catching up to Joshua with the stolen police vehicle later in the story. While in pursuit, Joshua decides to head to an old friend to help him get to where he thinks his wife is. To get to Joshua's old friend's place, they have to go through a city, so Joshua and Alfie put on a hat and head on into the city. Apparently these AI haven't heard of facial recognition either because the city is filled with AI robots that can easily spot them, but they don't. It would be a nice touch that Joshua recognizes this possibility and either has some technology or technology disguise, or better yet, rips off Alfie's skin to distort her appearance. In order to show that they are wanted, the New Asian government posts Alfie and Joshua's mugshots on boards. I guess that these are human locals rather than AI that they're trying to make aware of the two fugitives. Upon reaching Joshua's friend's place, the two are very excited to finally catch up after a long time being apart. 7. The warehouse has people actively building hundreds of AI robots, undermining the concern that AI robots being destroyed, since they of course can easily be made. Currently, Joshua's friend is in love with an AI robot who attends to making Alfie feel comfortable. 8.
You want, sweetie?
For robots to be free.
Oh, we don't have that in the fridge. How about ice cream?
Ice cream? Yes, seriously. The writers thought it would make sense that a robot would want ice cream. Like, did the writers just forget that this is an AI and does not eat? It's these kinds of errors the writers were trying to make the audience build a connection with the AI, but they totally forgot it's not a human. Ice cream eventually comes, and sure enough, it's an undercover AI agent that blows up the AI wife of Joshua's friend. Joshua has a shoot-off with the police in Joshua's friend's penthouse, which leads us to number 9. Why can't these AI hit Joshua at close range? I have seen better aim from NPCs. What is terrifying about AI in close range combat is that they're unlike humans. They don't have the same air rates that humans do. They aim for not only where you are, but also the 5 other places you could possibly go to. So why do the writers tend to make AI horribly inaccurate? Outside of plot armor, if you have an AI with extremely good aim, it makes the writing extremely difficult because you won't be able to outshoot the AI, therefore you need to outthink them. Some writers get this and make the AI seem super overpowerful because of the lack of air, hence the Terminator series. The writers here would have been better off doing that rather than flooding the scene with dumb AIs that miss every time. Remember, the soldiers that were tracking Joshua, well, someone with the stolen vehicle made it into the city and knew exactly where Joshua was without being noticed by the police. 10. The US forces sneak into Joshua's friend's pad while the New Asian police forces swarm the penthouse. But how did they get in there with the police forces? You guessed it, disguising themselves as AI by wearing AI-looking helmets. Like, seriously, the AI couldn't tell the difference between maybe body temperature, or maybe they weren't responding to the same communication like the other AI were. Like, these kinds of things makes it feel very gimmicky, even though there was a world war about the power of these AI. Then in making them appear more advanced, which destroys the whole world building. Well, Joshua and Alfie escape and head to the location where Joshua thinks his wife is, and sure enough, the police are onto them in no time, and during the pursuit, Joshua's friend dies. This isn't an AI thing, but I had to put this in here. When Joshua's friend is dying, what does he say to Joshua? You guessed it, I am sorry. Like, really, Joshua finds this friend after 5 years and says, can you help me? Friend says, sure. In that short time, Joshua's friend's wife died, Joshua's friend dies, and Joshua's friend's penthouse is completely shot up. So Joshua seems like an awful friend here. I mean, maybe Joshua should have been apologizing. Shortly after Joshua's friend's death, Alfie and Joshua get captured by the new Asian forces. While the AI forces have Joshua in a jail cell, he talks to Alfie and convinces her into releasing him when no AI was in sight. As Joshua escapes, the AI New Asian forces spot Joshua jumping overboard. They shoot into the water, but they can't find him, so they declare him dead because they can't see him and move on. 11. Wait, so AI logically think that there are two possible places Joshua could be after jumping over into the water. Either in the water outside of the boat or in the water under the boat. Joshua was under the boat. Like, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book. Well, if that wasn't bad enough, Joshua that night decides to get Alfie back because Alfie knows the location of his blown up wife. Apparently, all AIs charge up at night at the same time and are all off. Like, really, my smartphone can charge while it's on. Why can't these super advanced AI do the same thing like this? I'm not sure. 13. An AI in a different hut is smoking. 14. There is an off switch on the neck of an AI that's easier to turn off than my smartphone. At least for my smartphone, I need to put in a code. While Alfie and Joshua are escaping, they find themselves in the middle of a US forces ambush with massive tanks and walking explosive trash cans.
Command confirmed. It's been a pleasure to serve you.
Launch!
Alfie and Joshua retreat with the AI forces to where his wife is in another village. Joshua eventually meets his wife, who isn't blown up but in a coma. However, after 5 years of not moving, she actually looks pretty good. US forces follow the AI to the village that has Joshua's wife, and guess what? They blow it up. 15. During the fight, the AI, in order to warn other people in the village, ring a bell. Again, Amber Alerts? Nope, not gonna use those. Can these AIs communicate with each other other than auditorially? Maybe Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, just something? 16. Then, an old AI friend of Joshua gets shot in the chest and dies. However, why would he die if the main CPU isn't there? A human heart is there, but not necessarily a robot's main CPU. 17. People cry when AIs get blown up. Wouldn't they just back up their training and memory to the cloud, and then the information can be downloaded to a new unit? Can they even replace parts? Like, I know the writers want to make people feel that there's something at stake with the match, but come on, these are AI. Their parts are replaceable. If my mouse breaks on my laptop, I can get a new one. If my website crashes, I can have a backup and have it restored. This concept for mortal AIs makes no little sense, unless they have no idea how to back up their information, or people just don't know how to replace the parts of other AI. But then again, we saw the warehouse where those AIs were being built, so it's easy to build them. It's very hard to imagine a super advanced society not having daily backups of their beloved AI bot friends. Joshua and Alfie get captured by the US forces and Joshua becomes a hero, but he also figures out a way to get the US forces to think Alfie is dead and finds a way to get himself and Alfie on a plane. While being transported on a plane, Alfie hacks into the plane, drives up to Nomad, and destroys Nomad. And this time, Joshua's wife's memory backup is uploaded into a new AI, and Joshua and his recently revived wife spend 30 seconds together before they are both exploded in the sky along with Nomad. This is all while Alfie escapes. 18. While Alfie lands, and as she watches the remains of Nomad hitting the ground, which probably include Joshua's remains, even though she lost a good friend, her creator, aka her mom in that moment, she's smiling. 19. AI run towards the fallen remains of Nomad as the metal comes down from the sky, cheering, not worried that a stray metal piece would crush them or an explosion from the following trillion-dollar ship could incinerate them all in a flash. 20. Good design, but wouldn't dust get in there? Well, that is my short list. Here's the thing, I recognize that this is fiction. But when you call something AI, I expect it to act a little bit more like AI because that actually helps the plot. It seems that writers wanted the AI to appear more human, making it act like a human to build empathy. However, that undermines why the war even existed. AI in a war sense is quite terrifying, but when the movie really just doesn't capture the elements of AI in a futuristic movies and make mistakes that not even current day AIs will make, it comes off as lazy and does the story arc a disservice. I really felt this storyline had some potential. It was pretty fun, original. In fact, AI accuracy actually helps. Imagine during that infamous boat scene where Joshua hides underneath the boat. What if the AI robot jumped into the water, scanned the area for his remains, and to throw off the AI, Joshua pulled the whole Arnold in the Predator movie trick and covered himself in mud while holding his breath? It's these small adjustments that do three major things. 1, helps people understand why the US forces were so scared of AI. 2, showcases just how impressive Joshua is as a soldier. 3, as humans make friends with AI, it makes that relationship that much more surreal because of the sheer power of AI, but the compassion can overcome the fear. Think Terminator 2, where the T-800 protects the boy. What made that relationship special was that Sarah Connor still saw the T-800 as a killing machine, but John Connor saw him as a fun friend, setting up a perfect layup for character development for Sarah Connor. Accuracy with AI helps, and the plotline was pretty interesting with this movie, and if they capitalize on the power of AI technology, I believe the war, plotline, and character development could have really brought the writers' original intentions to surface. Instead, it came off as a slapstick comedy with poorly written AI making human mistakes. If you like this review, let me know in the comments, as I usually don't do reviews on movies on this channel. But if you found it interesting, I could definitely do more. Till next time.